Chicago's best pizza begins with selecting the best ingredients. The best tomatoes, vegetables, meats, and cheeses all come together to create Giordano's famous thin crust pizza, which is why we wouldn't think of serving you anything but the best. From pizzas to the freshest salads, soups, spaghettis, lasagna, chicken parmesan, and much more. Giordano's a great place to eat, a fun place to be. Come and enjoy Giordano's famous thin crust pizza.
Want your racing intense at speeds over 330 miles per hour and in your face? The NHRA Powerade Drag Racing Series is coming to Route 66 Raceway. Conquest Auto Parts NHRA Nationals, September 25th through 28th. See John Force, retiring legend Shirley Muldowney, and all the NHRA stars. Get your tickets now and experience the most electrifying racing action on the planet. The NHRA Powerade Drag Racing Series. Very real power.
A 9-time All-Star with 342 home runs, 5 Gold Gloves, one of the greatest Cubs of all time. Ron, you're a 10 both on and off the field. Congratulations on your number being retired. From all your friends at Fox Sports Net Chicago and your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers.
The wind is picking up here at Wrigley Field. The clouds are rolling in, but the weather should hold out for this Game 2. Game 2 of a doubleheader between the Cubs and the Pirates, and Chicago took Game 1. Welcome back to Wrigley Field. I'm Gail Fisher. If you remember from Game 1, yes, Moises Alou did get banged up a little bit, but he will play in this Game 2, so he is a gamer. The only changes to this lineup that we see is Paul Baca will be behind the dish. Ramon Martinez will be at shortstop. All right, let's take a look at the pitching matchup for today. Matt Claimant will go for the Cubs. He is 13-12, going for win number 14. His last time out a week ago against the Pirates, he struggled, but his previous 2 starts, he was outstanding, and that's the Matt Claimant the Cubs need to see today. Ryan Vogelsong will go for the Pirates. All right, we are moments away from game time. Keep it right here for Game 2, Cubs and Pirates. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Welcome to perfect USA, a town where everyone gives 110%, even when tipping, where windows are self-cleaning, and even though life never gives them lemons, people still make lemonade. Of course, we don't live anywhere near perfect, so there's Walgreens, open every day, many 24 hours, with everything needed for the real world. That's life. This is Walgreens.
I love to run, and it's not a problem. The hair goes with me when I run.
I would always wear a hat, even in the pool.
My tennis game has improved. I don't know, it just feels like I'm always acing the guy.
Hello, I'm Dr. John Parker. Hair loss is an all too common problem, but finally there's good news.
The Parker solution to hair loss?
No, I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This is my bridge.
This is my building.
And this is my truck.
For people that care about getting the job done right. We built the Toyota Tundra better from the ground up.
And now the magic number has been reduced to 1. The Cubs in Game 1 of this big doubleheader with the Pittsburgh Pirates sank them by a final of 4-2. 2. Now it's the nightcap. The Cubs with a game-and-a-half lead in the National League Central Division with 2 to play. With the win, with Matt Claimant on the mound, they could clinch their first division title since 1989 and do it for the first time before their home crowd at Wrigley Field in Chicago. Hello again, everybody, with Dave Otto, Chip Carey. Great to have you back for the nightcap. And folks, if you thought Game 1 was exciting, think about this place if the Cubs can win Game 2, David.
Boy, what a wild ride this has been. And when you look at the standings, the Cubs about a month and a half ago were 5.5 games back from the Houston Astros. Now the Cubs a game and a half up on the Stros, a win in the nightcap, and the Cubs will win their first division championship since 1989.
This has been a season of all kinds of strange and interesting ironies, and perhaps the biggest of all is that the Pittsburgh native, Matt Claimant, is taking the ball in the next to last game of the regular season with a chance to clinch it. Matt Claimant coming off a very disappointing performance against the Pirates last time out. Will try to beat Ryan Vogelsong, whom you figure the Cubs will have much better luck against in his second start against them.
Vogelsong matched up against Matt Claimant and had the early lead against the Cubs and threw the ball extremely well. This is a guy that's coming off a couple of arm surgeries. Matt Claimant last time out against the Pirates wasn't so much that he pitched poorly. A couple of seeing eye hits led to a big 6-run inning against him. Claimant, his whole key is keep the ball down and get that slider over for strikes.
And get this crowd involved in the ball game early. It'd be nice to have a 4 or 5-run lead in the middle innings of this ball game. Cub offense figures to be in high gear against Ryan Vogelsong, and it's going to be exciting for Game 2. Don't miss a pitch, folks. The Cubs go for the division title in Game 2 of the doubleheader. Holy cow, indeed. The unbelievable baseball season on Chicago's north side continues right after this.
Fox Sports Net's coverage of Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Aflac. Ask about it at work. Chevy. Test drive a new Chevy car or truck today at your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealer. Comcast. Proud to be Chicagoland's new cable company. Heineken. It's all about the beer. Heineken. Walgreens. The pharmacy of the Chicago Cubs. Geico Direct. A 15-minute phone call could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Nobody makes whiskey like Jack Daniel's. Pennzoil. Not just oil, Pennzoil. Your local area Lexus dealer who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Mike's Hard Lemonade. A hard Mike's is good to find. And by SBC. Ordinary people, extraordinary job.
Sullivan leads the Blackhawks. Kachuk powers the Blues. It is on. Hawks Blues tonight at 7 on Fox Sports Net.
Program in the first, $4. Snacks in the fourth, $25. A soda at the end of the seventh, $3. Friday night, no TV, DVDs, or video games. Priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Devoted fan of Major League Baseball.
My parents just bought the only minivan to get a 5-star safety rating since I was born. So did mine. I can watch movies, and they didn't even have to pay extra. Me too. The doors open like magic, and it beeps when she can't see my bike. Ours doesn't think. My dad said that we had a choice of 0% or Ford would match our down payment up to $1,500 for a total of $6,500 down. Plus, we got an extra $500 for being current Ford owners. Us too. Our new minivan is a Ford Windstar. So is ours.
If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again. Their parents did.
Comcast is working hard, so you won't miss a moment. We're working hard to bring you crystal clear pictures with digital cable. We're working hard to bring you high-speed cable internet. And at Comcast, our promise is to continue bringing new technologies home to you first, to keep you in touch, informed, and in sync, with everything you need to stay connected, now and in the future. All from one single source, Comcast.
Frank Thomas and the Sox look to finish the year off strong, as the Royals' loaded attack is sure to make it a fight to the finish. White Sox, Royals, tomorrow at 12:30 on Fox Sports Net.
We are are back at Wrigley Field under cloudy skies in Chicago. Game 1 goes to the Cubs by a final score of 4-2. The importance of that is the magic number for the Cubs in the National League Central has been reduced to a single skinny digit. If the Cubs win this, they win the division outright. If the Pirates win, the Cubs have at least guaranteed them a chance to win it tomorrow outright, or if disaster strikes, you play Monday. But the Cubs aren't thinking about Monday as far as playing is concerned. They're thinking about working out down in Atlanta in preparation for Game 1 of the divisional playoff series.
Exactly right. The Cubs assured of a playoff game on Monday, but ideally the Cubs win this ball game. Kerry Wood slated to pitch tomorrow. If the Cubs clinch it in this second ball game, Kerry Wood would open up the playoffs against the Atlanta Braves. What a terrific job by Mark Pryor in this first ball game, along with the bullpen. Pryor going 6 2/3 innings of 2-run baseball and was able to stymie the Pirates, and along with another great job, Joe Borowski with his 33rd save. And this crowd, I've been in this ballpark a lot of times, and this crowd was electric, very similar to what we saw when the Cubs played the New York Yankees earlier this year. And there you take a look at the standings, Chip, and boy, Milwaukee has done a number on the Astros, taken 2 out of the first 3 in that 4-game series. And the Houston starters have faltered the last couple of ball games. Jeremy Robertson last night only lasting 1/3 of an inning. And then today, Ron Vallone, the loser in the first game.
So this is what Cubs fans all across the country have dreamed about. Not only a chance to win the division, but since divisional play began in 1969, the Cubs have won twice, but they've never done it before their home fans. And think about this. Again, it's easy to talk about, much more difficult to do. But if the Cubs win this game today, imagine a Saturday night in Chicago with the Cubs champions of the National League's Central Division. And that man will take the hill for the Cubs, Matt Claimant, who could use a redeemer here this afternoon. Matt would be the first to tell you that things did not go very well for him against the Pittsburgh Pirates, his hometown ballpark, PNC Park. But today's a new day, and he's got to oppose Ryan Vogelsong, young man who's won his last 2 decisions and is coming off Tommy John surgery for the Pittsburgh Ball Club. But momentum's on the side of the Cubs. They've had a great September, and again, Sammy leads the charge out to right, and the Cubs look for win number 88 and a division title to boot. So Claimant takes the long, slow walk to the Wrigley Field mound. Here's the Pirate lineup he will face in Game 2. Nearly identical to the one Mark Pryor tamed in the opener. Tyke Redmond leads off in center field, followed by Abraham Nunez batting and playing second. Rob Makoviak will be in right field now. Frank Wilson gets the start behind the plate. No Jason Kendall in a starting role. Carlos Rivera is the first baseman. Jason Bay is in left. Jack Wilson, the shortstop, hits 7th. Our old pal Jose Hernandez is at 3rd. And Ryan Vogelsong will pitch and bat 9th.
Well, a couple of regulars missing from that Pirates lineup. Jason Kendall in particular, along with Matt Stairs, who's done a fine job over at first base. Matt Claimant, we mentioned his last outing, not a good one. 3 innings pitched, giving up 6 runs, and here's another guy, when you look at the innings pitched, hopefully he will reach that 200 inning mark. 3 starters for the Cubs have already reached that. Big key for Matt Claimant. His second half has been terrific, and that has been his slider against right-handed hitters, doubly tough. Being able to throw that pitch for strikes along with his sinking fastball.
As you'd figure with Matt, the key to this game is going to be, Dave, how he handles the left-handed bats for the Pirates. Now, Stairs, their biggest home run threat from the left side, isn't in there. But Rivera can put a charge into the ball as well. So what does Matt do to counteract the problems he had in his last outing?
Well, since he has been a Chicago Cub, he has had improvement against left-handed hitters because he has been able to cut that fastball inside the lefties with the work of Larry Rothschild. Before, Claimant would throw that fastball inside the left-handed hitters, and it would tail back out over the plate, and that's when you really get hurt. So he has been more effective against left-handed hitters, but when you do look at this lineup, you certainly have to be concerned with that. Redmond, Nunez, Makoviak, all at the top, and Carlos Rivera hitting 5th for the Pirates.
So here we go. The nightcap is upon us, and the fate of the Cubs atop the division rests in the right arm of that man, Matt Claimant. A win, and we wing our way to Atlanta on Monday. Tyke Redmond will go to work first. He was 2 for 5 in the opening game of today's play. Cubs in at the corners, thinking Redmond might try to bunt. And you figure Claimant's going to be a little excited. He misses with a fastball high and away. How do you counteract the nerves, the jitters, when you're a sinker ball pitcher in the early innings?
A couple of deep breaths, and as soon as you can lock in, Chip, on that catcher's glove, once you do that, you're that much more relaxed. It also helps to get that first out.
And first strike. 2 balls, no strikes. That one in. 2-1 your count. 61 degrees, winds out of the west at 14 miles an hour, which means the wind blowing toward the right field corner here. And that's where the Cubs are, atop the Central Division by a game and a half. Redmond ahead in the count now at 3 balls and a strike.
But you also think about how many big games the Cubs have been in the second half. Frankly, every game has been huge for the Cubs, and they're that much closer now.
Sharply hit ground ball to second. Runs Alanik. Gets his man. Good start. Hard hit ball, but 1 out. Here's a look, Dave, at the Cubs defensive lineup, and they turned in a terrific effort in game 1.
And Dusty Baker going with primarily the same lineup in the outfield. Lou Lofton and Sosa left to right. And in your infield, Ramirez, Martinez, Rudzelanek, and Karros. So Martinez and Karros and Paul Bacco behind the plate did not start game 1.
Here's Abraham Nunez. Nunez was 0 for 3 in the opener. Walked a couple of times, including in the 9th inning against Joe Borowski. He made things interesting. Hands held high above his head as Claimant fires one across the shoe tops. Bill Welke's our home plate umpire for the nightcap. John Hirschbeck, the crew chief, at first. Ted Barrett at second, and Wally Bell, the umpire, at third. Sharply hit ball. Karros snares that. He'll win the race to the bag. 2 ground ball outs. And you know, Karros, along with the Los Angeles Dodgers, real excited about playing in this game of great significance.
Well, it's nice to be right-handed first baseman on that particular play. Claimant, good heads-up play by him to get over there, just in case Karros not able to get there by himself.
Karros has appeared in the division series twice, in 1995 and 1996 with the Dodgers. Here's Makoviak. Left-handed bat, 2 for 4 with an RBI in the first game. A strike from Claimant. Drive into center field. Lofton will play it safely. And Makoviak, a real good hitter, is on here in Pittsburgh's first inning. That might be, Dave, the most surprising thing about the Pirates. Since the middle of June, they're 49 and 47. A lot of people thought that that ball club was going to fade away in the Central Division. That has not been the case.
Offensively, they've been super. 3rd in average, 6th in run productions, and a big part of that is guys like Makoviak. That is a short and quick swing. And we talked about, Chip, you mentioned earlier, against left-handed hitters. Sometimes Claimant does struggle against them, and there was a situation when that fastball just came back over the plate.
Here's Wilson. He hit a home run in the 4th inning of the first game. That gave the Pirates a brief 1-0 advantage off Mark Pryor, who, as Dave said, was simply overpowering with 10 strikeouts in 6 2/3 innings. Swing, and it's out of play. This crowd today really rocked and rolled in the last 3 innings of the first game. Now they're sitting back in eager anticipation of a Cub lead in the 9th today. They are going to be real important to nurse Claimant through this game. Remember, Matt's pitching with a sore groin. I'd love to see the Cubs give him 4 or 5 early. Let him coast for a while. Big slider, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, Dusty Baker and Larry Rothschild have juggled the rotation a couple of times and just trying to keep everyone sharp and dealing with injuries. And it's nice for Dusty now to go with Mark Pryor that first game, give him the extra day. And now Matt Claimant going on 6 days rest, and you mentioned his groin injury.
1-2. Rolled to the left side, and Wilson's aboard. 2 on with 2 out. So an inauspicious beginning for Claimant. Here's Rivera, the young first baseman.
First couple innings always the toughest for a pitcher to find that breaking ball, and that time Claimant just threw a hanging slider to Wilson.
And Rivera, one of the young farmhands for the Pirates. Played at AAA Nashville this year, hit .263 with 31 RBIs in 72 games. They'll give him a look in spring training next year. But alas for the Pirates, their magic number is 2004. That's when they'll open spring training camp down in sunny South Florida. That man's done a real good job in Pittsburgh. He's kept his team very competitive these last 3 months under very difficult circumstances, and Lloyd McClendon deserves a big pat on the back. -2 to Carlos Rivera.
Well, you get a swing on that. Lower and slower.
Inning over. 2 hits, 2 left for the Pirates. Here come the Cubs bats against Ryan Vogelsong in the first.
This is my bridge.
This is my building.
And this is my truck.
For people that care about getting the job done right. We built the Toyota Tundra better from the ground up.
Zach's Jewelry is celebrating their 25th anniversary and grand reopening. Come in now to see Zach's beautiful new showroom. Zach's custom cases hold the best selection of fine-cut laboratory-certified diamonds in all shapes and sizes. Zach's may have a new look, but they still have the same great prices on the finest jewelry. Zach's 25th anniversary celebration is on now. Come in for great service and selection.
Celebrate Zach's 25th anniversary. Zach's, the best diamond experience you can have.
Excuse me. Oh, I just came from there. Oh, could you excuse me? Hey! Excuse me! All I want to do is just buy some new flooring.
Then welcome to Carpetville Flooring America. Carpetville Flooring America is quality, selection, knowledgeable friendly service, and guaranteed low prices every day. Carpetville Flooring America, covering Chicagoland one home at a time.
Tomorrow at 12:30 on Fox Sports Net.
Pittsburgh failed to score in the first inning, and Cub great Ryan Sandberg, his lovely wife Margaret on hand, hoping the Cubs can seal the deal here in the nightcap. And this is the lineup Dusty sends out with a magic number of 1. Kenny Lofton leads off in center. Mark Runzolonic bats and plays second with Sosa, Alou, and Ramirez to follow. Eric Karros at first base. Ramon Martinez the shortstop. Paul Bacco catching the second game of the double dip. And Matt Claimant pitches and bats ninth. There's a look at Ryan Vogelsong, formerly of the San Francisco Giants. And he threw a very good game at the Cubs at PNC Park in Pittsburgh. In fact, 1 unearned run, 5 hits, 8 strikeouts, and 7 innings of work. Vogelsong 26, Dave, coming off Tommy John surgery.
When the Pittsburgh Pirates traded away Jason Schmidt to the San Francisco Giants, the Pirates insisted that Vogelsong be in that deal. The Giants very reluctant to give up a guy like Vogelsong. However, the last couple of years he has been hurt and making the long road back. Spent most of the year in AAA, making a second start against the Cubs, and it was a good one. Last time out, 7 innings pitched.
In fact, he beat Matt Claimant, so this is a rematch. When the Cubs saw the Pirates on September 20th, 1 week ago, they were a game and a half out. They've made up 3 games in the Central, playing on the road while Houston played at home. That is some kind of effort. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lofton scorches that out of play.
You can go through the season, Chip. There was one point where the Cubs were 5.5 games back. In August, big series against the Houston Astros. Down in that first game, Dusty Baker elected to hit Zambrano in the 7th inning. Zambrano with the home run to tie things up. The Cubs go on to win that ball game.
That was the hanging breaking ball from Wade Miller down in Houston.
Oh, my.
He hit it a mile. That tied the game. And the Cubs eventually prevailed over Houston. The Astros, if you're just now joining us, were beaten again by Milwaukee 5-2 the final. Lofton takes strike 3. Vogelsong a surprise party. And the leadoff man down for the Cubs here in our first.
Vogelsong with the live fastball. Again, coming back from that arm surgery, still getting his fastball back, but he is a horse. 6'3", 220 pounds, and against the Cubs last time, he was able to sink the fastball away to left-handed hitters, and then once he got ahead in the count, he would throw that fastball upstairs.
Cubs really got their best looks at him the second time through the batting order up in Pittsburgh. They left the bases loaded, as a matter of fact, in the 4th inning of that ball game. They'll have an opportunity to cash in a few early ones here in the first inning. Runzolonic. What a year for him. What a year for Eric Karros. What a year, even more importantly, for Jim Hendry, the Cubs general manager. Got quality guys to turn in quality efforts this year. And the Cubs coming back from a 67-win season at 87 at the moment. For Sammy Sosa. Sammy walked, scored, and drove in his 102nd run. And that was in the 5th inning. We'd like to welcome our affiliate Comcast and their viewers in Palatine, Illinois, to Menace Day at Wrigley Field. One ball, no strikes. Against Vogelsong, Sammy had a real tough time. He's 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. Good pitch, good call. 1-1 your count.
A couple of those at bats against Vogelsong, even though the 3 strikeouts. Sammy had some pretty good at bats, fouling off a ton of pitches, just wasn't able to get the ball in play.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Bases clear here in our first inning.
Well, we mentioned that the live fastball from Vogelsong. The other thing he did real well last time was with that breaking ball right there. Hard breaking ball. Every once in a while he'll take a little bit more off of it. It's like a slurve.
That's just off the corner, evening the count. One more game left in the regular season. That's tomorrow. Kerry Wood's scheduled to go for the Cubs. Kip Wells for the Pirates. Will retire Ron Santo's number 10 as well. That ceremony will start at 12:40. Hopefully, be a happy night tonight. Sammy hits a rocket straight away center field. Redmond will wave goodbye. There goes for Sosa, number 40.
Not too many people have gone over the Junipers. And Sammy just did with the hanger his 40th.
9 straight 100 RBI seasons for Sosa. So it's 1-0 for Sammy Sosa on a rocket shot straight away center field. And you figured that he was itching to make Vogelsong pay for his performance in Pittsburgh. Two balls, no strikes to Moises Alou. Check swing, pop to the right side. Rivera is there. First inning in the books. Sammy Sosa's 40th home run puts the Cubs in front, 1-0.
Two more steps, guys.
Come on, Mom.
We've been to the video store and the dry cleaners. I think we've been in the car all day.
Hard-working engines need a hard-working oil. Introducing Pennzoil's SUV, truck, and minivan motor oil. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Get the Pennzoil Protection Package at Jiffy Lube and get $10 back on your next Pennzoil service.
Easy, gang. Plenty of room. To make the ride to the game more comfortable, Chevy thought roomy Suburbans and Tahoes were just the ticket.
Sit back and get comfortable.
Now get $4,500 total cash back on every 2003 Chevy Tahoe. Or get $5,000 total cash back on every 2003 Chevy Suburban. Hurry, the selection won't last.
Maybe this wasn't the best idea.
Copy that. See your Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealer today.
Mr. Thompson, after hearing the evidence and listening to your testimony, this committee finds you guilty of obstruction of justice, embezzlement of company funds, and questionable accounting practices. Well, there appears to be some good news.
Yes, sir.
Well, I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico. Thanks very much.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This is the time of year where you want your stars to lead you. And in the first, Sammy Sosa unloads with his 40th home run. He's hit 40 or more every year since 1998.
Those 3 home runs against the Reds, all on breaking balls. Vogelsong must not have gotten the scouting report, because right now, when Sammy gets a hanger, you have to get a new baseball.
Sammy's hit more home runs in the history of Major League Baseball over any 10-year period, including Babe Ruth.
And it started in 1994.
What's amazing about that 30 homer, 100 RBI statistic, all the other guys besides Sosa are American League players. Sammy plays in right field every inning, virtually every inning of every game. This year a big exception with the toe injury, the suspension. Who will forget 66 has. It's been so refreshing, I'm sure, for him and for the rest of his mates. Finally, there is a supporting cast around Sammy Sosa that makes it a team effort. When you're the only show in town, and frankly, in 1999, 2001, last year, wasn't really a whole lot of positive to talk about other than what Sammy Sosa did on a daily basis. This year, he shared the spotlight, and the Cubs are looking good. Bay strikes out, 2 in a row for Claimant, 1 away in our second inning.
Sure, there were seasons where the Cubs' fortunes would go the way of how Sammy was doing. But there's been a couple instances this year, and you alluded to it, during the suspension, during his injury. Other guys, it was a huge pick-me-up year for the Cubs.
Here's Jack Wilson. What a play he made at shortstop in the opening game. This guy, I think, is a real underappreciated and underrated middle infield player for the Pirates. He's not going to win the Gold Glove, and he's made his share of defensive miscues, but this guy's around the baseball up the middle. He makes the great majority of the plays he's supposed to, and a whole lot more of the spectacular ones.
And came over from the St. Louis Cardinals a couple of years back, and Lloyd McClendon insisted that Wilson be involved in that trade.
Driven to right, Sammy is there, drifting back a bit, 2 down. Well, it's not surprising that under the tutelage of George Kissel, minor league coach for the St. Louis organization, that Wilson heeded his lessons and is going to be a very good player for a long time. Here's Jose Hernandez. This is a matchup you figure Claimant should have a pretty good shot at. You throw this guy high fastballs, as Claimant does, and he's going to wear you out. It's the breaking ball that Hernandez struggles to hit. 3 singles for Pittsburgh, a 2-out safety brings up the pitcher here.
And that's why Hernandez will hack early in the count, because he doesn't want to get to 2 strikes.
So here is Vogelsong. Rolled foul for a strike to Ryan Vogelsong.
Vogelsong acquired from the Giants, and in his first start in a Pittsburgh Pirate uniform, his second start, blew his elbow out, that being the 2001 season.
Good breaking ball, 0-2.
Throw it again, right?
Absolutely. Inning over. Claimant has his 3rd strikeout and a 1-run lead in the middle of our second inning.
If only all businesses were like Walgreens Pharmacy, then they'd give you automatic refills too. Because Walgreens can automatically refill your prescription before it runs out. And they call or email you when it's ready. So it's easier to keep track of all your prescriptions. Fortunately, there's at least one place that's designed around your needs. Walgreens. Why go anywhere else?
It was fast. We made it faster. It was smart. We made it smarter. Until it was as close to perfect as it's ever come. And that's saying something. Introducing the new, more powerful ES330. At your Chicago area Lexus dealer.
The ultimate fantasy football show. We know who to start, who to sit, who's a stud, and who's a dud. The hidden gems. We know what you don't. Weekends on Fox Sports Net.
Tonight, hockey returns to Fox Sports Net. Steve Sullivan and the Blackhawks square off against Keith Tkachuk and the St. Louis Blues in a preseason showdown. It's Blackhawks Blues hockey tonight at 7 on Fox Sports Net. Speaking of icing, Cubs hope to ice down a little bubbly at the end of this ball game and then pop the cork on their first division title since 1989. Still a lot of work to go, but a Sosa home run puts them in front after an inning and a half of play. And Aramis Ramirez leads things off for the Cubs in the second. This is the lone race left to be decided in Major League Baseball. All three American League divisional races and the wild card are settled. In the National League, Atlanta's won the East. The Giants have won the West. The Florida Marlins are the wild card. One more win by the Cubs wins them the Central and a first-round date with the Atlanta Braves in the playoffs.
And I don't think there's any surprise with Atlanta in the East. I do think there's a surprise with the Giants in the West, the number of guys that they lost in the offseason. And certainly a potential surprise here with the Cubs. I don't think you could have scripted any better of a season for this franchise than this year.
No balls, 2 strikes to Aramis Ramirez.
And did you think in spring training that we would be sitting here right now?
Well, in so many ways, this team reminds me of the '91 Braves team that went from worst to first into the World Series. I remember sitting down with Ernie Johnson as that ball's rocketed into left field, talking with my dad, and I asked them what would be a good year, because the Braves had had similar and even longer trouble than the Cubs had. A good year would have been 500. I think the Cubs probably in their heart of hearts thought if they could win 82, 83 games, they'd be incredibly excited about taking a very large step forward. But I would also tell you that in a year like this, you have so many guys that are unlikely heroes step up. The Karoses, the Grudzelanecs, the Zambranos, the Joe Borowskis, Mark Pryor winning 18 games in his rookie year. His first full major league year, I should say.
Well, one of the things that you don't know going into a season with new acquisitions, and certainly see them on the playing field, guys like Eric Karros, Mark Grudzelanec, but what you don't know is what kind of character they have. And we have certainly seen that this year.
Another line drive, this one into right field. Boy, Eric Karros is a professional hitter. Remember when this Cub team was real right-handed for about 6 weeks? There was a stretch where Eric Karros single-handedly kept the Cubs alive because of base hits like that one to right field.
That son of a gun is one of the first guys to show up at the ballpark every day. And he takes that tee, that batting tee, and it goes out to the outfield behind the ivy into the batting cage, and every day he swings the bat. You know, there's guys on this ball club, one guy in particular, Ramon Martinez, where, you know, they're not in the lineup every day, but they stay sharp.
Well, that's why I think Dusty Baker's teams with the Giants and this year with the Cubs play so much better baseball in the second half of the season. He said when he took the job that he was a guy that used all 25 men on his roster. At times, as any manager will do for the casual fan, there'll be a lineup that you just scratch your head. What's the reasoning behind this? He knows his personnel. It took him about 50, 55 games to figure out who could do what and who couldn't do what. if you play everybody, then when you need a big play in a big game, you don't hesitate to put a man in a situation where he can succeed because he's had 3 or 4 or 5 at-bats prior to that big moment. 1 ball, 1 strike, and the same holds true for the bullpen guys. I mean, you can't not use a guy for 2 weeks and then put him in with a bases loaded 1 out and expect him to be sharp. That's just not the way this game works.
One of the big decisions that the Cubs made early in the year was in April with off days, you can easily go with a 4-man rotation. They stayed with the 5-man rotation, giving those starters that extra day.
Ground ball up the middle. Wilson can't get it. Cuts into center field. They're going to wave Ramirez around. There'll be no play. They're at the corners. Nobody out. The Cubs lead by 2. There's an example of it. Martinez came on in the 7th inning of Game 1. In his first at-bat today, he shoots a ball up the middle and drives home the 2nd run of this game.
And that's a play that Wilson normally makes at shortstop, gets by him, and where we saw Vogelsong with a nasty breaking ball his last outing against the Cubs, now it's hanging. And Ramirez scores easily. And just as important, Eric Karros goes 1st to 3rd on the play.
So with nobody out, Paul Bacco stands in. Has been terrific, hitting .274 the last 7 weeks of this season, and he has called it, caught it, and thrown it better than anybody could have expected.
Big double the other night in Cincinnati in Sean Estes' ball game with the shutout. Bases clearing double. Earlier in the year, Baca was 6 RBIs against the Reds.
Yeah, what did he have against Cincinnati? Cleared the bags twice in a single season against them. The 0-2 pitch to him with men at the corners. Fly ball foul and out of play. Each passing moment, each run tallied. The excitement building at Wrigley Field in Chicago, where a standing room gathering is on hand. The Cubs will not get to 3 million in regular season play. That's because of yesterday's rainout. Well, they're going to have 42,000 here today and tomorrow. And they're going to get to 296 or so. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, you have 80 dates then. I don't have my calculator, but what is that average per game? I mean, that's got to be 36.
Almost 37,000 per day. 36,956 coming into today's game.
Stellar.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Sharply hit up the middle. It's 3-0. 4 straight hits. All right, Chicago. Let's get a little buzz going here in the 2nd inning. 3-0, nobody out. Stopping at second is Martinez. And you figure Claimant is going to try to bunt here.
I would like to see a bunt here. Clement hitting a hard 150.
A single run in the first, 2 in the second. Cubs going for the jugular. This is exactly what Dusty wanted to see. A big early lead and keep adding it on. The bunt on, and then he swings and he misses. You can see Hernandez and Rivera, their life flashing before their eyes as Clement drew the bat back.
Rivera over at first base was in Matt Clement's hip pocket.
And he may have missed a sign. Wendell Kim's down there talking to Clement.
And really, Clement squared around too late. And no way that he could bring the bat back and put a good swing on that pitch about 2 feet outside. Watch out for the pickoff at second base.
We saw that against Milwaukee with Houston yesterday, especially with the pitcher in the batter's box. Sometimes that pitcher will bunt through a pitched ball, and that runner anticipating contact will wander a couple of steps off the bag, and an alert throwing catcher can sometimes catch that man napping out at second base.
In that time, Wilson trying to have Martinez extend his lead while Nunez backs in at second base.
Clement bunts. Hernandez will make the pickup. The sacrifice of beauty. Second and third, 1 out. 5-4 the scoring. Top of the order now for Lofton.
It's a nice ball to bunt right there. A hanging breaking ball, and Clement making sure that Hernandez fields it. Kenny Lofton here.
So they'll load the bases with 1 out and take their chances with the righty-righty matchup of Gruntelanek and Vogelsong. But remember, Mark Gruntelanek second only to the Astros' Richard Hidalgo in batting average this month in the National League. So the bags will be full with one more bad one to Kenny Lofton here.
I just think that Lloyd McClendon is sick of seeing Kenny Lofton drive the ball up the middle. 2 hits in the first game, and Lofton, a member of the Pirates, beginning of the year, 26-game hitting streak. Tell you what, Vogelsong had pretty good stuff on that intentional walk. I've seen guys launch to try and lob one in that situation. You end up throwing one away.
So here's a chance for Mark Gruntelanek to put a huge number on the scoreboard here. He lined out his last time. Ball 1, no place to put him with Sosa on deck. Spin Williams out along with Wilson, trying to settle in Vogelsong here. Other baseball today, Milwaukee beat Houston. Wes Obermuller beat Ron Vallone. The Cubs a 1.5 lead. Can clinch it with a victory today. Mets beat Florida. They got a big 7-run inning. I think that was in the 7th. They beat Florida 9-3 today. Atlanta loses to the Phillies 7-6 in 10.
Is that the Italian?
I think so. Keep Randall Simon away from that guy. John Smoltz, by the way, gave up 2 to force extra innings. Phillies won. Swing and belted down the left field line, but he yanked it out of play. Dodgers beating the Giants 1-0. That's in the 5th. Cardinals over Arizona 3-2. And already Mark Corey gets up for the Pirates. 1 ball, 1 strike to Grudzielanek. Bases full of Cubs, leading by 3. Wilson again. More meetings than the UN Security Council here in this second inning of play. One ball, 2 strikes. That move to the mound might have been on instructions from the dugout to give Corey some more tosses. 1-2 your count. Sharply hit up the middle, base hit. 1 run scores. Baco around third. Redmond loads up. His throw off target. It's a base hit and it's 5-0. Lofted all the way around to third.
Boy, just pouring on. How many great at-bats have we seen from Grud this year? Vogelsong trying to go in early in the count, and then hangs the breaking ball, and Grud drives it up the middle. And that will do it for Mr. Vogelsong. A tale of 2 starts for him. Outstanding the first time against the Cubs, but not today.
So the Cubs have that big lead for Matt Claimant. That's exactly what they wanted. We'll see if they can continue to pour it on. 5-0 in what could be the clincher at Wrigley Field. More fun to follow this time out.
I love hanging out with my son. I love playing games with him. And I love more than anything probably us just laughing. I mean, at home, we imitate, coyotes to each other. And he knows what a coyote sounds like. There's nothing greater than the laughter of a child, because it's genuine. They don't care who hears them. They don't care how loud it is, and they don't care if you think it's funny or not. He can do that coyote pretty good.
Is this your town, home to great neighbors and very hard water? You need CLR.
Water stains everything.
CLR is specially formulated to take on calcium, lime, and rust.
After I clean my coffee pot with CLR, the coffee just tastes fantastic.
CLR gets rid of buildup in your humidifier and rust stains in your washing machine. Wherever there's buildup, CLR can help.
CLR is available at these and other leading stores.
Shining is finding new ways to do things. For over 65 years, Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois has worked to ensure your health and the health of those closest to you. And every day, we're seeking ways to improve what we do. Sometimes, the things that are familiar to you can still surprise you. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, shining through.
Mark Corey is on for the Pirates. And he'll face Sammy Sosa. Runners first and third, only 1 man out.
And there you see the numbers on Mark Corey. Decent fastball, but his big pitch is the big overhand curveball.
Wicked cut. Tell you what, they will be rocking and rolling at Harry Carey's downtown tonight if the Cubs can clinch it. 1-1 the count to Sosa. 2 balls and a strike.
You take care of me tonight?
Absolutely. I'll have to talk to Grant DePorter. We may have to buy a round on the house when I get there later on tonight. We will see, though. 2 balls and a strike. Still work to be done. That one skips up there. And a terrific stop by Wilson to keep Lofton at third base. again, there's still a lot of baseball to be played in this ball game. But as we look 2 booths down, and you look at the man who's going to be honored tomorrow, you think about what could be in another 2 hours or so. Line down the left field line, but Sammy pulled it too far. 3-2. And that man, of course, is Ron Santo. That man has given his life to this organization. His number is going to be retired tomorrow. They'll fly the banner somewhere here at Wrigley Field. And if things continue to go as they are, there'll be 2 of them tomorrow. Runner at first goes. 3-2 is popped out of play. Dusty was very aggressive in the first game. Doing the same here with the Cubs, wrapping out 5 runs on 6 hits. Shoes, as one member of my family used to say.
So I'm not sure what high button shoes are.
3-2. Swing and a miss. The throw is into center field. The Cubs steal a run. Sosa strikes out, but the throwing error brings home Kenny Lofton. Runs Alonic all the way around to third. It's a 6-0 game.
Jason Kendall not in this ball game. Craig Wilson, although it has some experience behind the plate, and that's exactly why Dusty Baker put Rudd in motion. Poor throw from Wilson, and the Cubs steal a run. Boy, he just never got his feet in place to make the good throw to second base.
Hey, if the play was in center field, they'd have had him by a mile. Here's Alou. 1 ball, no strikes.
Right center.
So Moises popped out to end the first inning. Again, playing with a sore thumb. He'll pop that ball to the right side and out of play.
Sore thumb and also a sore face. Alou,
yeah, he got kneed in the face on a takeout slide at second.
I don't see any blemishes. You?
Not in this score. 6-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sharply hit. Backing up is Hernandez. He's got a very strong and accurate arm. Huge second inning for the Cubs. This town's ready to erupt as far as the National Leaguers are concerned. 5 runs come across. Next year might be here at 6-0.
The Hyundai Sonata, a comparison. More standard features than a Toyota Camry LE, including a V6 engine. And yet the Sonata costs $2,100 less when comparably equipped. Add in America's best warranty, 10 years, 100,000 miles, and you win. Test drive the Hyundai Sonata starting at just $14,839 at your Hyundai dealer.
Hurry into the Hyundai winning season clearance and get up to $2,000 cash back or 0% APR for up to 60 months.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
American Morning is informative, it's energetic. We will not waste people's time.
It's all about the story and the news. Some stories people say, well, why do I care? Why do I need to know? And the truth is, you do need to know, and here's why.
Bill Hammer. Soledad O'Brien, where real news makes the difference. American Morning, weekdays on CNN.
So are you guys doing anything fun this summer?
Like dial-up? Imagine if everything just suddenly quit.
Yeah, they always get excited when they see their grandparents and you get to...
Unlike dial-up, Comcast high-speed internet doesn't just quit, because it's always on. Best of all, it's now available at a dial-up price.
It's not so bad. It's different. That's all. Yeah.
Well, tomorrow we wrap up the regular season against these Pirates. A special giveaway to the first 10,000 females 14 and older. And we will retire number 10. That Ron Santo number retirement ceremony starts at 12:40 sharp. We can't wait for that. And we hope you'll be able to join us as the Cubs have built a 6-run lead for Matt Claimant. Redmond bounced to second to open up the ball game. One and two is your count. In the American League Baseball, Seattle and Oakland are tied 4-4 after 4. Toronto and Cleveland. That's a 5-3 Toronto game. How about Delgado? 4 home runs and 4 at-bats the other day for the Blue Jays. Sharply hit, lined over first, and Eric Karros, who has a future in Major League umpiring, gets the call right.
Gonna help him out. Boy, how many times this year have we slowed down balls down the left field line and right field line?
All's right with the world at the moment. Line drive, that's also in fair territory, and Tyke Redmond has been a real find for this Pittsburgh ball club. Here's a board leading off our third inning of play.
Well, left-handed hitters hitting 30 points better against Matt Claimant than right-handed hitters, and you can see why there. That slider coming into a left-handed hitter, and Redmond has really surprised me in how quick he is on some pitches. At Pittsburgh last week, turned around a Mark Pryor fastball down the right field line.
He was a guy taken off the 40-man roster for Pittsburgh. When Lofton got traded to the Cubs, he got the opportunity to play every day, and he's played real well for him. Now, I don't know if he's going to be the guy every day next year for them, or barring any other alternatives in what figures to be a low payroll club for Pittsburgh. He's going to get a shot in spring training. One ball, 2 strikes to Nunez. The Cubs with a 5-run second. And that's lined out of play. This game might have extra sweetness for the Cubs. On Friday, Drayton McClain, the owner of the Houston Astros, trying to fire up his troops, said that they, meaning Houston, were going to clinch the division on Saturday. They got the pronoun right. They are going to clinch, assuming the score holds. But the they's not Houston. It's going to be the Cubs. 1-2 your count. Back door not open. 2-2. Runner leads from first. That's Redmond. Fly ball right field. Softly hit. Sammy comes in. He's played very well today. One man down. Here's Makoviak.
I don't know how that would motivate a ball club. A comment like that from Drayton McClain, certainly very respected as an owner of the Houston Astros. But would that motivate you, Houston, in a scenario like that? One of the things that with Dusty Baker this year, and I've seen it on the opposite side, but how he gets his ball club motivated and ready to play every day. When you go up and down the major leagues and players that have played for Dusty Baker, well, they just love to play for him.
And if the Cubs again finish this thing off today, you and I will be down in the locker room for what we hope will be the celebration. And we'll ask some of the guys what that it is. I mean, we've all speculated about it. We're not in that that locker room every day as the players are. I think we alluded to some of the magic, and he plays everybody. Everybody feels like they have a part to play as Makoviak bounces a shot to right field. Redmond will head to third without incident. And the Pirates are bouncing singles all over the ballpark right now. First and third, 5 hits, and here's Wilson, who singled his first time up.
Carroll's holding Redmond on over at first base. I think it is intangible.
No balls and a strike. Steve Stone has said all the time that Earl Weaver used to say, good chemistry is good starting pitching. The Cubs have certainly been blessed with that.
I really compare this staff to what the Oakland A's have done. It's just a relentless pitching staff.
That's why nobody wants to play this Cub club. As Kerry Woods lookalike bats for the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Get one on the ground right here. 6 double plays grounded into from Wilson this year. You think?
A little bit.
Get one downstairs right
here. Cubs leading 6-0. 5-run second chased Ryan Vogelsong. Now the 1-2. Sharply hit. Carroll's second for 1, first for 2. Claimant fired up. He got the ground ball he needed. Inning over. Middle of the 3rd inning. Cubs 6, Pirates nothing.
There's a state where there's fun around every corner, where all cars are turbocharged, and there's a direct link between the right foot and a smile. Maybe that's why people who test drive a Saab usually buy one. This is the state of independence. Welcome.
Get attractive year-end pricing on a 2003 Saab 9.3 linear sports sedan, now available for as low as $299 a month.
Pay bills online free with free checking from Bank of America. Higher standards.
Before a small business owner buys something new for their business, they make sure it's right for their business. So we're making it easy to find out if SBC Yahoo DSL Business Edition is right for you. Go to sbc.com biz DSL to learn how it can help you do more quickly for less than you'd expect. Just $29.95 a month guaranteed. Seeing small business differently. SBC.
The biggest stars are on the Best Damn Sports Show, period. Please welcome Samuel Jackson. Weeknights on Fox Sports Net.
Here's our Bank of America playing to a higher standard. 10 years ago today, the White Sox clinched the AL West title.
Looks up, you can't put it in the ball.
Bo Jackson, what a player he was.
After a hip replacement.
Well, it was 14 years ago yesterday the Cubs clinched their last division title as Ramirez sends that one up in the air on the infield. Nunez backs up, makes the play. Ramirez pops out. But since divisional play, the Cubs have never clinched on their home field. They clinched a wild card. That was in game 163, but a division title, an entirely different experience for them. And we are 6 innings away from that potentiality today. Eric Karros, a single and a run scored. Cubs got a solo home run from Sammy Sosa in the first. That was number 40. 5 runs on 5 hits in the second. And that's where we stand now at 6-zip. Downstairs, 2 balls and a strike.
113th game this year for Eric Karros. And the biggest adjustment for him this year is not being in that lineup every day. Last couple of years with the Dodgers, because of his back, was not in the lineup.
Chop toward third. Hernandez handles cleanly. 2 men down.
And you always worry about a veteran making that adjustment to becoming that role player, and he has handled this with the utmost professionalism. The Cubs acquiring Randall Simon, and Simon doing a terrific job, and Carroll splitting time with Simon. And that the added luxury of that is Dusty Baker able to play matchups, lefty-righty.
And don't forget, too, early in the season, the Cubs were playing Hee-Seop Choi a lot. Many feel is still going to be the first baseman of the future for this club. But Eric knew that this was a club, especially after Corey Patterson got hurt, that this was a team that needed some left-handed balance. And when the game started taking on more and more importance and the struggles of Choi continued, and Eric could be the first to tell you that the overall success of this club was far greater than a chance for him to play every day. That's not the stage of his career he finds himself. And because of him being smart enough to understand and accept his role, which is the important part of it, he's been able to stay sharp and stay very effective for this Cub team.
And that is not an easy thing to do.
In for a strike to Martinez. 3 balls and a strike. Bases clear, 2 out.
We just got to look at Corey Patterson in the stands and what a big part of this Cubs season this year Corey Patterson has been. Good to see that he's doing well, and hopefully he'll be ready this spring. Boy, that is a superstar in progress.
3-2 to Martinez. Boy is rehabbing his knee down in Atlanta, Georgia Tech. And you're right, everybody's hoping he will be ready to go in March. High fly twisting down the right field line. That ball is going to find its way into the stands. Houston lost 5-2 today. Scott Posednik had a huge game. 3 hits, 3 runs. And Posednik is going to get a great deal of consideration for the Rookie of the Year honors in the National League. Certainly Dontrell Willis will earn some of those as well. Popped up back toward us and out of play.
For that matter, Brandon Wett.
I think it's a 2-horse race between Posednik and Willis, and were I to vote, I would probably give it to the everyday player, Posednik. He's been that good for Milwaukee. Fly ball hit to right. Makoviak chased back shy of the track, and the Cubs half of the 3rd inning is in the books. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the 4th. All Cubs in game 2, 6-0.
A 9-time All-Star with 342 home runs, 5 Gold Gloves, one of the greatest Cubs of all time. Ron, you're a 10 both on and off the field. Congratulations on your number being retired. from all your friends at Fox Sports Net Chicago and your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Chevy dealers.
The only love I have in my
Jay.
life. So don't tell me who to love. You have no idea how I feel.
Excuse me. What's your name? Can I get my grown man on for one second? I see some ladies tonight that should be hanging with Jay. Jay said, excuse me, miss. What's your name? Can you come hang with me?
I told him I was leaving.
Sensational play.
What?
They're down by 10 at the half. Now they come.
Excuse me.
Look again, look again.
Ford truck season is here, and the world's #1 selling truck, the 2003 Ford F-150, now offers 0% financing for 60 months or $4,000 total cash back. Save big on a new 2003 F-150, and check out the next F-150. The truck critics are calling the best pickup ever. Ford truck season at your local Ford store. Be there.
Where you been? Look again.
Frank Thomas and the Sox look to finish the year off strong, as the Royals' loaded attack is sure to make it a fight to the finish. White Sox, Royals, tomorrow at 12:30 on Fox Sports Net.
Here we go to our 4th inning. The duck a little silent right now as the Cubs lead by 6. And who's the first National League team in 50 years with at least 3 players having hit streaks of 20 games or more?
I could stay in this box for the next 5 days and I'd never come up with that.
Or until opening day 2004. Well, they're doing their best. As legendary voice of the Cubs, Jack Brickhouse, used to say, anybody can have a bad century. And I think that the comments Jim Hendry made upon hiring Dusty Baker are worth repeating. As Carlos Rivera leads things off here in the 4th inning. He struck out his first time up. Dan Roan of WGN Sports was interviewing Jim Hendry and said, everybody loves a winner with regards to Dusty Baker. And Jim Hendry said, we're going to win and they're going to love him. Fly ball center. Rivera easy out number 1 in the 4th inning. And you cannot underestimate Jim Hendry's job this offseason in reshaping and remaking this Cub ball club. All Jim Hendry has said, I don't care about awards, I don't care about honors, all I want to do is win the games. And Jim Hendry knew that his offseason jobs were to rebuild the bullpen. He had to move Todd Hundley. That was an experiment that did not work out well for either party. And he wanted to get a man in that dugout who shared his vision of winning and winning for a long time. He waited out the field and got his man Dusty Baker, a move that surprised, I think, Dave, a lot of people in baseball, not only for its success, but for the audacity and brashness with which Jim patiently awaited for his plan to be executed.
This turnaround started on November 15th, the day that Dusty Baker was hired.
But having said that, Dusty Baker has molded this club and gotten them thinking and believing that they can win every day, as Bay skies that to center. Again, the wind blowing out. Lofton still going back. Over the basket catch. What a grab. Say, hey, baby, that's some kind of effort. That'll make the highlight reel. 2 out.
Wow. You don't mind seeing that number right there. You feel comfortable as a pitcher when you see that number 7. I mean, that is straight over his head, and he ran to a spot.
So 2 quick outs in the 4th. Here's Wilson. And there's Jim Hendry, the fine general manager of the Cubs. Wearing his good luck shirt today.
Hotel gift shop. You know what also Jim did is he built a bench. Guys guys with rolls.
Another fly ball chance for Lofton. Again, he's on the run. He's calling off Sosa. Kenny, a record held by many. 3 putouts. 4th inning in the books. Cubs look to add to their 6-run lead.
Not too close. What do you think? I got that insurance?
What insurance is that, Yogi?
The one you really need to have. If you don't have it, that's why you need it.
Need what?
Aflac. Well, if you get hurt and miss work, it won't hurt to miss work. And they give you cash, which is just as good as money.
Aflac. Ask about it at work.
September is clearance month at your Dodge dealers. It's your chance to make 0 down payment, 0 payments for 6 months, and get 0% APR financing. Or choose generous cash allowances of up to $4,500 on 2003 models. Plus, you'll get Dodge's 7-year, 70,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. 0 in on all the savings during September clearance month. Now through September 30th. See your Dodge dealer for the best values in America.
Calling all Cubs fans. Bring your favorite team home year-round with Vineline, the official monthly magazine of the Chicago Cubs. Published out of the Cubs' own friendly confines, Vineline delivers expert team analysis, exclusive player features, outstanding photography, and more. Call 773-404-CUBS to order today and receive a free gift with your subscription. Rates start at just $22.95. Call 773-404-CUBS to order today.
Start your Sunday with NASCAR This Morning. Get the inside track from the pre-race show that'll have your motor running before the green flag drops. NASCAR This Morning on Fox Sports Net.
Well, Dave, I can't believe you didn't guess Carmen Fanzone being one of those 20-plus hitting streak guys. I mean, that's Steve Stone's perpetual guess. Our Aflac trivia question.
And Davey Rosello?
Could be, yeah. What's the answer? Pittsburgh Pirates. Kendall, Ramirez, and Lofton all had long hitting streaks. And Paul Bacco sends a shot to center. Tyke Redmond gives a little ground. And it looks like we're approaching the stage of this game as Joe Beimel is in, where both the Cubs and Pirates want to move this game along a little bit. Cubs have a 6-run lead. That's not to say either team's trying to take anything for granted. But the Cubs have to feel awfully confident with the way Claimant's throwing the baseball. With a real rested bullpen, and obviously the ramifications of this victory will be huge, for it allows Dusty Baker now to juggle his rotation. Kerry Wood was scheduled to go tomorrow. You got to think he ain't going tomorrow. He'd go game 1 in Atlanta.
So makes this game obviously so critical at this point. Have Kerry Wood open up your postseason. Time's running out for Matt Claimant also, by the way.
Still looking for
that home run.
The home run, yeah.
And a car would be given to Matt Claimant, I believe. That's a bet if he hits a home run.
Well, everybody else who started has hit one except him. Why does he get the car? Because he's the last, or what's the?
No, because the rest of the pitching staff felt like there was no way that Matt Claimant would go yard this year.
Well, how about Barry Larkin the other day, speaking of cars? Larkin probably won't return to the Reds, although nothing is certain. Claimant takes strike 3. Barry Larkin, 18 years with the Cincinnati Reds.
That was great.
Buys a brand new Mercedes for Rick Stowe, the equipment manager in Cincinnati, as his way of saying thank you for all he did.
No, I think they would buy Claimant a bright orange Yugo if he were to go. But that was a terrific on the part of Barry Larkin.
Beimel has 2 outs. Top of the order now, Kenny Lofton. He struck out, walked, and scored. And made a wonderful catch in the middle of that 4th inning. For Pittsburgh.
That's normally a pitch that Claimant drives somewhere, that last pitch that he took. Just keep throwing up those goose eggs.
That's it. And Cubs finally got a chance to control their own destiny. The Milwaukee Brewers beat them last night down in Houston in a game that shocked the entire baseball world. The Cubs came out in game 1 behind Mark Pryor, took advantage of it. And now here today in the nightcap, 5 innings away from a division title. What I'll be interested in is not so much the reaction to this crowd, because I think they're going to go absolutely crazy here at the ballpark, but the reaction of these players and Dusty Baker. I think Dusty, after his experience with the Giants last year and getting all the way to within 1 game of a World's Championship, he better than anyone else in that locker room understands that this is going to be one step in the process. There's still a lot of work to be done.
1 step of 4 total. But to win a division, the culmination of 162 games and grinding it out every day like the Cubs have this year, this is pretty special.
Lofton throws the bat at the ball and comes up empty, and it's a scoreless bottom half of our 4th inning. We go to the 5th. Cubs still leading 6-0.
The new 2004 Pontiac Grand Prix with optional driver's package has aluminum wheels, wide track handling, and the largest V6 in its class. Chicagoland, it's a rush, hour after hour. And now get a 2004 Pontiac Grand Prix with driver's package for around $229 a month with Smart Buy financing. Residency restrictions apply. Call for details. This is not a lease. Own your Grand Prix today. See your Chicagoland Pontiac dealer.
We followed some friends out and came to work for Joe's Crab Shack.
Let's go, Gloss! Show 'em what you got!
You know where this Joe's Crab Shack is?
Head to Joe's Crab Shack and enjoy steak and fried shrimp for only $10.99. Tender, juicy, top sirloin steak grilled to perfection, served with your choice of coconut or fried shrimp for only $10.99.
Don't you know you gotta go eat at Joe's?
Go, Claw!
He always wanted a boy. She hits both ways, you know.
No matter where life takes you, Verizon Wireless lets you stay in touch anytime. Hurry and get unlimited, that's right, unlimited night and weekend minutes to use coast to coast on the America's Choice Network. And when you act now, you can save big on select LG phones. So you can keep up with friends and family all across the country all the time. Verizon Wireless, we never stop working for you.
Can you hear me now? Good.
Sports show, period. Weeknights on Fox Sports Net.
Welcome back to Wrigley Field for this Pontiac in-game update. I'm Gail Fisher, and Sammy Sosa got the crowd going early in Game 2 of this doubleheader. Sammy going yard, coming up big for the Cubs, putting them on the board first. And Sammy Sosa loves hitting them out here at Wrigley Field. Right now, he has over 100 RBI on the season, and Sammy becomes the second player behind Jimmy Fox to have 30 or more home runs and 100 or more RBI for 9 straight seasons. Chip and Dave, that is amazing.
Yes, it is, Gail, as we go to our 5th inning. It's 6-0. Cubs have the lead, and Jose Hernandez got a fastball to hit, and he ripped it up the middle. Let's see if Matt goes for breaking stuff. Bouncing ball to short. 1 pitch, 1 man out.
A good call, Chip. Slider. Oh, that's Clement's bread and butter. Keep that thing down.
Boy, you look around this ballpark. These fans are ready for October baseball. And they have waited a long, long time. Beimel will be taken down. J.J. Davis. Young slugger, for whom the Pirates have big hopes, digs in for the first time today. Beimel works a scoreless inning with a couple of strikeouts.
This big man standing in the box right now.
And a big bouncing ball towards second. Rutzelanic shovels to first. 3 pitches, 2 outs. 6 men in a row retired by Claimant, and I would imagine that Somewhere downstairs in the bowels of Wrigley Field, Tom Hellman, the Cubs' great clubhouse man, is getting things started perhaps for a post-game celebration. Here's Redmond. He's 1 for 2. Comes again, pinching in at the corners, thinking he might try to bunt. That misses upstairs and wants a new baseball. A standing room only gathering here at the ballpark. What a night in Chicago this could be. Nearly 3 million fans have come out. The audiences on radio and television at record levels this year. Interest in the local newspapers and the sports pages. Phenomenal. All because of the great support of the fantastic fans of the city of Chicago. Great job as always by John McDonough and Jay Blunk. The Cubs marketing department has had a wonderful product to put on display this year. And that's been the key. It's been a team effort. And for those folks who have toiled so long, so hard, and in such anonymity, I hope that they'll be sharing a special part of what could be a great celebration today, too. Redmond on with a 2-out walk. Here's Nunez. He's 0 for 2. Big swing and a miss to Nunez. Dave, take us in that locker room for the Cubs. I mean, what is that sensation like when you're on a team that accomplishes so much and so unexpectedly?
Well, I think that's the key word. So, unexpectedly. And I knew the Cubs were going to have a good year, but I thought they might be a year away from it. Now, I was part of the Oakland A's in the late 80s, only a September call-up, and in those years they won the division easily. So it was almost anticlimactic when you got to that point. But to go to game 161 and potentially do it is just a wonderful feeling.
Waco wants to chat with Matt Claimant.
And you look back on a season that was so difficult for this Cubs ball club. All of the obstacles that they overcame this year. Injuries, losing Corey Patterson, Sammy Sosa going on the disabled list, Mark Grudzelanek out for a month.
On July 24th, the Cubs were 5.5 games behind the Houston Astros.
They were 1 game below 500 at the time.
And then they lost that day, went 50-51, went to Houston. And played great, and were right back in it. Ground ball foul. I think that's why this race has been so remarkable. You look back, and counting the 30-odd games that you play in spring training, 161 major league games, looking at almost 200 ball games, and coming into play today separated by 1 game in the loss column. Remarkable. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Crowd rising is Nunez. With 2 outs, has a man at first. Little chopper, and that's going to roll foul and out of play.
And they have a ball club that their longest losing streak of the year was 4 games.
Well, that's what good starting pitching will do for you, and is the difference between this Cub team and ones we've seen in the last 6 or 7 years. When you go to war with one A, B, C, and D as far as starters are concerned, you're not going to have many losing streaks. That's why this game is built around good pitching. 2-2. Fly ball, line to center. Lofton is there. 5th inning in the books. Matt Clement's qualified for a career-high 14th win. They're getting excited in Chicago. 6-0 your score.
Two more steps, guys. Come on, Mom. We've been to the video store and the dry cleaners. I think we've been in the car all day.
Hardworking engines need a hardworking oil. Introducing Pennzoil's SUV, truck, and minivan motor oil. Not just oil, Pennzoil.
Get the Pennzoil Protection Package at Jiffy Lube and get $10 back on your next Pennzoil service.
17 years in a row, Schaumburg Honda Automobiles has been the Midwest's largest volume Honda dealer. But how? Our prices help. But it's our service that keeps our family of customers coming back.
Right now, get 2.9 APR for 60 months on any Accord.
There's only one, Bob Rohrman.
Bob Rohrman, Schaumburg Honda Automobiles, just 8 blocks west of Woodfield Mall on Gulf Road. Schaumburg.
What I have seen on the field of battle has led me to question my purpose.
You cannot escape.
You have no idea what their weapons can do.
The Last Samurai. Rated R. Starts Friday, December 5th.
Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Toyota. Get the feeling. Corona Extra. Miles away from the ordinary. And by your Chicagoland Ford stores. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
What a day in the Windy City. Indeed, in Dusty, we trust. And this Cub club as well. They're gathering outside the ballpark. That's Waveland Avenue. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Cubs have a commanding 6-run lead over the Pirates. 12 outs to get, and the Cubs will be crowned champions of the National League's Central Division. Huge crowd today of 40,121.
And new pitcher for the Pirates, Nelson Figueroa. Cubs saw him at PNC Park. There's about 5 different arm angles. Changes speeds pretty well. And going to that bullpen and using each reliever for 1 inning.
He's a guy that might get some consideration as a starter next year for Pittsburgh. Went 12-5, a sub 3-point ERA at AAA. It's an area where the Pirates want to try to improve. Their season unraveled when Chris Benson went down again with arm problems. Figure with Wells and Fogg, they'll have a pretty good trio, but a couple of more good starters cannot hurt. Angelonic rolls out to open up the Cubs' 5th. It's our Toyota fan of the game inning, by the way, Cindy Goodwin in Gardner, Illinois, standing by with Sammy Sosa coming up. If the Cubs add another run or so here in the 5th, Cindy wins a Fox Sports Net Toyota prize package, including a hat and a t-shirt. Home run number 40 came in the 1st inning for Sammy Sosa. Again, the monumental achievement for him this year. 40 homers, over 100 RBIs, despite missing nearly a month of this 2003 season. And now he'll have a chance to go to the playoffs for the 2nd time with the Cubs. But this time, the Cubs will finally end the monopoly held by the Cardinals in Houston on the National League Central Division crown.
Seems like every home run Sammy hits, it's some sort of milestone.
There's another line drive to right, hit pretty deep. Makoviak, though, on the track, calls it in, 2 out. Well, this year, you recall, the season began. Sosa's first home run was number 500. That came at the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. Then Sammy Sosa equaled Ernie Banks. He passed Mickey Mantle on the home run list this year. And he and Barry Bonds, the next couple of years, are going to try to assault the record book. Sosa's going to move toward 600 next year. Bonds hanging in just a few shy of 660. In fact, he's 2 away from Willie Mays, his godfather's record. And I figure Bonds, with a healthy 2004 campaign, be the 3rd man in the history of the game to get to 700, and then look out. Then the big wave comes. Sosa, A-Rod, all with huge home run hitting potential. It's going to be very interesting to watch these next 6, 7, 8 years in baseball.
It's amazing. I played with Sosa in '94, and Sosa led off games.
He was a much different player then. His nickname was the Panther. Sleek, gifted base stealer.
I've never seen anyone bust their tail like he has.
I'll lose the board with a 2-out walk.
About the last couple of years, middle of August, talked about Karros earlier getting his work in, but it was almost intimidating when other teams would show up at Wrigley Field and they'd be sitting in the dugout and they would see Sammy coming from the batting cage, 3 or 4 hours before the game every day in the middle of the season. It's relentless.
Back in the old days when Ted Williams was hitting with the Red Sox, there were opposing managers who wouldn't let his pitchers watch Williams hit in the cage. It was that demoralizing. Ramirez thinking about a home run, fouls it straight back, 0-2 your count. We're in the 5th inning. Dave Otto, Chip Caray. Those of you expecting to hear the voice of Steve Stone. Steve off today, celebrating Rosh Hashanah today. So all of our Jewish fans, a very happy New Year. Steve will be back with me tomorrow for the season's regular season wrap up on WGN. 1-2 the count to Ramirez. Ramos goes up and out of the strike zone. We move along to the 6th inning. It's getting serious. 6-0. Cubs have the lead.
Introducing new body wash from Old Spice.
Put my love to the test.
It has a dual action formula, so you'll get really clean, smell really great.
Hey there, need help with your anatomy homework?
New body wash from Old Spice.
Cut up and cleanup time at your local Steel retailer. Get the Steel Mini Boss Chainsaw featuring the exclusive Steel Quick Chain Adjuster. Perfect for homeowners, just $199.95. Got leaves? Clean them up fast with the easy starting Steel BG55 blower that converts easily to a vacuum. Just $159.95. It's cut up and cleanup time. See your servicing Steel retailer today. Look in the yellow pages under saws or visit steelusa.com. Are you ready for a Steel?
Are you ready? Hit! Balls! Hit! Balls! Break down!
Oh, excuse me.
The ML350 with optional seating for 7 has arrived.
Shining is making your own choices. And at Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, we help you do just that. By assisting, not dictating. By supporting your decisions, not making them. And by looking at things from a different perspective. Yours. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois, shining through.
Cubs baseball is brought to you in part by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, shining through.
The 19th Annual Cubs Convention takes place at the Hilton Chicago during the weekend of